Hola a todos y todas, bienvenidos a Canalización Armonía. I have some cards I pulled for this full moon eclipse energy that has been cooking these last days. I had some intuitive downloads in a forest I traveled to, and I can't wait to share those with you. I was really pushed by the grandfather trace to share this with you all, and I just pulled some cards and they were amazing. I was actually dreaming about it today, and I woke up in the middle of the night, or I believe sunrise, with the word chariot in my mind. The chariot, that's it. My guides were like, the chariot, and I'm like, okay. I went back to sleep and I pulled your spread right now, and the chariot comes out. The chariot is the first card that came out, and then a few others. So I'm gonna give you a better view of the cards, and I will share these downloads and this collective reading. So here are the cards that I pulled, and while reminiscing on these energies and in my own life, and then as well collectively, I do want to share this big energy of closing a cycle of resentment, specifically resentment. Okay, so when I was in the forest, I had this amazing experience where I even channeled light language, and for the first time ever, because I have been listening to light language for my own healing from other channelers for quite some years now. And then not so long ago, in the few past years, when I became a mother, I started channeling myself. I started being more open to this channeling, because I used to like tap in there and every now and then, but I didn't fully believe in myself. Now I do fully believe in myself, and I've been having this routine for like about 4 years now of doing it daily, grounding on earth, my bare feet on earth. Very important to mention that around this time you're doing that, because I believe this is a Pisces sign on the Western astrology and Aquarius on the Vedic astrology, for this full moon and lunar eclipse, and it can be very overwhelming psychically. So you might as well try to ground anyhow with sound when taking a shower or singing, whatever you do, okay? Drawing, writing, journaling, whatever grounding means to you, because it can be very, just very intense in a few ways, like mentally, spiritually, and your higher bodies and your higher etheric bodies. So my point with this was that I, for the first time, felt in this forest I traveled to, the full body energy, like being channeled through me from the cosmos, through the body, and then back to the earth, and then back up to me. It was very intense. It felt like really good tingly sensation, goosebumps. And if any of you have ever experienced with plant medicine, which I'm one of those who has in the past, not anymore. It's been years since I don't experiment anymore with any plant medicine. I believe I obtained what I needed to obtain for my healing, and now I just simply don't. And my medicine is being out in nature, connecting with breath, connecting with song, etc. Stargazing, talking to the trees. But believe me when I say this, but one message of the grandfather trees at the forest I traveled to was, you don't really need any substance to feel this like stamina and bliss and ecstatic energy that comes from the cosmos through you as a channel, as a human vessel, from then to the earth and back to you. And it's like a circle. It's like an infinite spiral going up and down. And that's when you really achieve to find source light to you, from the cosmos to you. Everything is for you through every decision that you make. That was a big message. And there was a message of forgiveness. They were saying that yes, we give our wood for people to have fire to provide heat and shelter when they build with their wood for their families, for their loved ones. We provide oxygen and shade from the heating sun when you needed the moisture for all the living beings here. And they wanted to communicate that there is no need for us to feel guilt for taking, or shame for killing the trees or taking them, because it has happened across millennia, and they're like, what's done, it's done. Now we need you to do something with this energy. As a human vessel, we need you to do your mission fully how you can here on earth, and serve others and serve the collective. The first card that I got was the Chariot, okay? And that's a lot of movement forward. So anything that has been stagnant is gonna start moving forward like really, really quick right now, okay? And any beliefs that maybe you thought that were like implanted on you as you grew up, or that are being implanted right now around you at work, by your family, any like traditions that you feel that need to be broken, are going to be broken, okay? You're gonna have these realizations around this full moon and lunar eclipse after it passes. Of course, don't have any like intense important conversations or confrontations when this happens, but maybe like in the following week, because there's also the fact that we got the Chariot. It just says that it's really about these goals that are gonna be achieved one way or the other, maybe not the exact way that you had thought before, or the exact manners that you have to deal with the situations. Maybe there's some emotional balancing that needs to happen right now, and I'm saying this because we got the Page of Cups as well. So this also talks about maybe just thinking outside the box when dealing with the situations. There's going to be a sense of like renewal and freshness around your relationships and the way you manage them, even those who you don't want to cross paths with that often. And I have to say this, it's mostly family for the collective. It's mostly family. I know it's a harsh truth, but yeah, I think that whoever's tapping into my videos, when I put the intention, they're really like past, being in circles that bully them, for example. Like, you have the choice. But then when you want to heal generational trauma, you don't necessarily cut off your family, right? Or at least in a case that it's not very intense and damaging and dangerous physically or mentally to you or your loved ones. But most of the cases, you keep going. And I want to say that this is mostly going to be family, okay? With the Four of Pentacles here, I feel like there's a sense of like, in regards to your finances, you're going to be able to know which things are the ones that are worth keeping right now. Because it's going to give you a sense of security right now, here with the Four of Pentacles. And I feel like you're going to be seeing that, like, there's, in this specific tarot, this is my first tarot ever, okay, from years ago, maybe a couple years ago or so. This is the eye that I feel like it's very present in the whole tarot, but I feel like you're going to be seeing these things that are important to keep a secure financial state for you and your loved ones. You're going to set these boundaries that you needed to with family members or whoever, like I was saying. Also with the Seven of Pentacles here, I feel like there's going to be something that you're going to be reevaluating. Look at this little mirror. You see this little mirror? Like, just, you're going to be reflecting on so many things. Maybe people, maybe relationships that reflect all these things to you, all these eyes to you. Like, oh, this fragment of myself. And then, oh, this thing that you're saying reminds me of this fragmentation of myself that I hadn't remembered in a while. I feel like that's something that's coming through right now. But the Seven of Pentacles is really about, if you talk about financial and manners and material things, there's gonna be a lot of perseverance, and these goals are gonna take time to show you like physical results, but you're gonna feel these results emotionally. Okay, you're gonna feel these results emotionally, intuitively, spiritually, even though you might not be seeing them, because there is like this openness right now. You are receiving this cup right now. In this cup, you're receiving a lot of intuitive messages here with the Page of Cups, and you're seeing all these opportunities that you have. Like these opportunities, I feel like these stars are opportunities, and funny enough, you got the star as well, collective. So around this lunar eclipse and these Aquarius or Pisces full moon, I would suggest that you go really deep into what you have lost faith in, because it's gonna re-spark. The spark, la chispa, va a surgir de nuevo. Okay, colectivo? The spark is gonna spark again. The spark is sparking, okay? The spark, a lot of like hope is coming through here with the star card. And it's going to happen. Maybe this is hard times for you all. Maybe this is very intense right now, but it's gonna come to an end soon. That's why I said like maybe the week after this you can start like moving stuff physically. Maybe a lot of you need to move stuff physically out of your home. That's coming through as well. And then that's gonna bring a feeling of stability, like even financial stability, when you declutter, right? When you live like minimalistically, I feel like. And there's also some things about health coming through. There's also a sense of like you're gonna feel this renewal, this motivation with the star, and then that's gonna bring an upper to your health, inner glow or an outer glow to yourself as well. The last card that it just popped out after, I wasn't planning to put in your spread, but it's the Justice card. So anything that you were struggling, like maybe legal matters or whatever, you're gonna have your justice. Okay? I just wanted to say that because some of you need to hear that there's a law of cause and effect always. And anything that is not benefiting your reality, that is keeping you stagnant emotionally, is gonna diminish, at least around this time of the full moon and the lunar eclipse. It's gonna diminish. And the Chariot energy is saying also like you won't be susceptible to mind control anymore, whatever this means to you, collective. Okay, this could mean like literally like you're protecting your crown chakra more when you're driving around. And, you know, there's a lot of stuff out there. There's a lot of antennas and radios signals and a lot of things that have its own topic for anything that you want to research out there. But your antenna, let's say that you're covering it, you're covering and protecting it with crystals, with whatever, oils, herbs, meditation, anything that protects your crown chakra. And this justice is coming to you with the honesty that you take when you put boundaries here with the Four of Pentacles, I feel as well. And this spark of renewal, like it's very present in this reading from the Star card and the Page of Cups. So I would say that, like, you know, create anything that you want right now. Perhaps in solitude right now, start cooking it, start creating your vision boards, your collage, your journaling, your plans, whatever. And then give it life after this time, because it's gonna be kind of a heavy time. It always is when there's eclipses, and it's always just recommended, as far as I know, when I listen to other energetic channelers, to just do it after, you know, wait a couple days or a few days after. But yeah, this is a wonderful reading, and never forget about that creativity. Just harness it, you know, like play music for yourself, sing in the shower, enhance your childlike wonder. That's going to be really helpful around this time here with the Page of Cups. Okay, there was also a message of like opening the heart a lot. Like there was a sense of forgiveness from these three beings that I visited in this forest I traveled to. As I was saying, the childlike wonder message was really, really strong, and breaking the patterns of holding grudges that maybe you grew up with. Here with the Chariot, breaking like just traditions and things that you think you have to carry on, even from your past lives, even from your ancestors, that you have to carry on. There was a message also about just being really open to relationships and breaking that pattern of, like, people of color maybe feeling a little bit closed off to people that are not of color. Let's just say that. If I can explain myself better, it's just breaking this generational, millennial resentment patterns, as I was saying in the beginning, towards anything that your ancestors went through, including the wars, including the colonization, and giving another chance to humankind, to humanity, and being kind to each other no matter the color of your skin. Yes, even though your ancestors might have been so against it before. And yeah, that's a big message too. There was a sense of forgiveness, like forgive, forgive, forgive. Life goes on and on. The earth is spinning so quick. The trees were saying, you don't need to hold on to these things. You need to build. You need to keep growing and expanding. And that includes a lot of compassion and forgiveness with clear discernment and boundaries. Boundaries for pentacles, okay? And that was another message that came through, that compassion and forgiveness doesn't mean letting yourself be abused, or interacting with narcissistic people. You might as well be open-hearted and, yes, for example, say hello to someone that is very narcissistic or abusive, and that's it. You don't go past that, you don't become friends. You don't tell them your desires and your secrets, of course. You don't trust them with anything important, but there's a sense of trying to coexist, and also the energy of really being aware of your antenna, your crown chakra, of protecting it, and really protecting your desires here with the star. That's coming through right now, like protecting your plans and maybe sharing those ones they have taken off and not before. Like I said, boil and cook and prepare your plans right now, your vision boards, but then maybe after a few days of the eclipse and the full moon, then share them. Like I was saying, what was that was coming through just now with the boundaries? Oh, yeah, that's right. It came back to me. Thanks, Spirit. Grace. That's it. The trees were sharing, like, be graceful, just like you're graceful with me. They were saying, because I was loving the trees. I was hugging them. I was in tears of joy. I was ecstatic. I was so amazed that that could happen with me being just myself in my energy. And it was like a natural mama nature high, to be honest. Yeah, and it was like that grace. You can share it if you have that, if you can harness that yourself through the earth, through the cosmos, through your own energy body and your ethereal bodies, then you can be as well with those around you, with your relations. And even though there's some resentment about everything that has been going on with the wars and a lot of things that are very unfair and unjust, you can bring justice by being very graceful still, and by loving those around you, and by being accepting and graceful, but at the same time being this warrior of light that has boundaries and discernment and grace with those who you shouldn't like cross your personal bubble or your energy, simply. And that was a big message. Around this full moon, you might be a little bit triggered, perhaps. And there's a lot of sense like of be graceful, because you are that to yourself and you owe that to yourself. Not that you owe that. I don't want to use that word, because they were discarding this sense of guilt that blocks the child, like on their sacral chakra, which Page of Cups again. So let's just say that you are free to be present and feel all the good things, okay? And also feel the bad things and deal with them as you should, but with grace and calmness. And sometimes that means being really stoic when you are talking with your emotions on the peak to someone, to anyone. And yes, this was coming through. Okay, collective, thanks for tapping in, and I'll see you in the next one. Enjoy this full moon and lunar eclipse. Goodbye.